So my name is Dikesh. I'm going to just walk the floor because I can't sit still. I'm founding partner of Deep Ventures. We are a venture capital firm set up about a decade ago here in Malaysia. So we don't just invest in Malaysia, we invest in the region. Our focus is first check, early stage, but these days first checks change a lot. So those days, people want to start with 50,000 ringgit, have 50,000 ringgit started idea. Today we see people come up with ideas that say, I need $1 million, $2 million. So we still do the same thing. We write our checks in, maybe a little bit more bigger today, 150,000 to 500,000 ringgit. But when we come in, we also club around. So we have an angel network of about 400 investors, not just in Malaysia, but they go across the US, Japan, around the region. And we club deals together. Then eventually we help you fundraise. So we're in the space of that. We've been doing this for a decade. We're very programmatic, and what that means is we do things in batches. So we believe that when you want to start great ideas, you can't do it alone, you do it in groups of people. So the whole lab concept is based on this, right? You put in a group of people in a room together, and you do it as a cohort, and you see how everyone leverages each other's strengths and weaknesses to basically go further. And then the top ideas, we usually write a check. Same thing with this program. We're willing to invest in some of the ideas that you come up with, and also help you fundraise these ideas a little bit more bigger than the usual check we basically write. So for the last 10 years, we've done over 58 batches, and anything that we invest in, we see it to the end. That means we're continuously fundraising for them. So every 12 months, we raise at least 25 million ringgit for our startup. We just closed about 26 or 2 startups that we invested in a couple of weeks or so. We have the likes of Kazaga, Ministry of Finance, and global investors investing in our companies. We even have the founders of Oculus that sold to Facebook investing in some of the companies with us, right? So we work with global investors, and that's what we want to bring to the table when we work with you. So today, our know-how goes into a lot of corporates. So corporates are willing to work with you, and that's something that you'll see in the lab. It's not so much you just figure out an idea in the world and just figure it out and go out there yourselves. So today is a very much more collaborative world we live in. So when we work with corporates, we work with about 97 corporates, not just in Malaysia, but also global MNCs like FWD Insurance. And we show them how they can co-create with you. And these people know that even though they are big, people like FWD have a $50 billion budget to invest. That's how big. But they know they don't have the capabilities and capacity to look into innovation because they're busy running business as usual that makes them billions. But you are the key, right? So same thing goes with travel industry, hotel industry. Every industry now are starting to see that they cannot do this alone, and they need people like you to co-create it. It's a new world we live in, and a great opportunity for you to co-create with some of these giants. So we're going to show you how you do this. So in principle, we are an accelerator. That means we take people with ideas to get products in 100 days, people with products to get customers to scale. But being doing this for 10 years, we built a few more instruments in us. One is deal flow. So as you come into programs like this, we maintain an interesting website called Muru2.com, Muru-2.com, where we list every single Malaysian startup. When I say Malaysian startup, it means real startups. Not people who have Facebook pages who sell stuff online who are not a startup, right? These are digital by default companies. And what happens is, investors around the world use this to find interesting things to invest. Angels use this to basically invest. And we have a lot of track record of people discovering you. So as we find some of you that we've not maybe had too much in travel industry, I think we only have like 18 companies in travel industry on our site. We want to expand this. We're slowly expanding this to also include regional. So you get the eyeballs of people outside of Malaysia that also want to look for travel hospitality-based stuff, 3D discovery. Then of course we have the growth section where we work with corporates on innovation, so we connect you with customers, but also help you fundraise. So we also have the ECF license, and we work with bigger funds so that if you're trying to raise your seed and your Series A or whatever after that, we're here to help you, right? So we do the whole gamut. So in the last 10 years, we work with practically everyone in this country. Of course, MDEC is an amazing partner. We do a lot with them, build a lot of experiences with them. But we also do this for most of the larger industries also in the region. So what we have is the know-how of taking you to scale. We've done this many times. Like one proud moment we have is Shell has only bought 2 companies in Malaysia ever, and they bought from us. So we built ideas, churned it across 8 years, and know how to sell companies to giants. If you ever want to scale, we have the formulas for that. and we help you connect with all the relevant parties, right? So end of the day, it's all about that. It's all about portfolio synergies between corporates. So imagine the travel industry partners over here, among yourselves, among other things. And this is something that in the last 10 years I say we're good at, not just good, I think we're great at, looking at patterns and connecting the dots. When you all work in silos, that's the issue. You're in silos. But when we step outside of the industry and we see you all together, we can see how you can synergize a few startups coming together to solve the industry needs. But when you come together that way, it actually makes an impact for someone like Tourism Malaysia to say that it's not just a small startup, but here's a collection of people that come together that actually solve things that matters, right? So I think that's the key when you build portfolios that way, and that's what we do. So to give you some kind of context what we've done in the past, to understand what we're about to do with MDEC for the tourism sector, 2016 we went down the whole route of saying, fintech is going to be the next big thing. Back then, nobody else cared about fintech. So we embarked on this with Maybank. And this is where we started from a very nascent industry, building some of the biggest fintech companies we've seen today, including a like of Funding Society was sitting in a room like this with us in 2016, just graduated from Harvard, looking for the first million ringgit, saying, I want to do lending. Of course, the banks all after them saying, how can you do lending? There's no such thing of peer-to-peer lending. And today, I mean, this number is way bigger. They spent billions to peer-to-peer, to businesses, small, medium organizations who need working capital to fund purchase orders and stuff. That's how impactful they had. And then this one called Cons.ph eventually was sold to Gojek about 2.5 years ago for $72 million US. So we've seen things go from nothing to that kind of ridiculous amounts of stuff. It has happened. And growing that across the last 5-6 years, we showed how we could build an industry out of nothing to something, right? Including events like this, talks, reports, showing the market where the gaps are. And that's something you're going to see with us across the next 1.5 years as we embark on this. There's so many things that are gaps within the travel industry as we work with different partners and more partners come about. They're telling us where the gaps are. We're helping them prioritize where it makes more sense for you. Of course, when you say it makes more sense for you, it means where is the money, right? Because you're not going to build something just for a small little back-end process for a partner to solve a cog in a wheel and get paid hardly anything. You want something that makes an impact and therefore also makes an impact on the bank balance, of course. So we're here to help map out those things. And eventually, we made really great investments, and most of these investments have done well. Right? We've seen through all our programs, at least 120 fintech companies created in 2016. We've seen over close to $1 billion worth of follow-on funding into these companies, 6 startups acquired, and we made quite a good return on our investment in this thing. So we know the formula on how to find startups that can do well, and the formula to scale that. And we're about to bring that to the tourism industry. So we also tried that for the insurance industry, and that's been booming like a little business. It's become a big nascent industry and now going quite mature. So bring that all in. We want to bring the same know-how into tourism. It's a very interesting niche. But post-pandemic, as the doors open, the borders open, there's a lot of pent-up demand for such things. So no better industry for digitalization itself. Because gone are the days, if you're old as me, when you go to a different place, you just walk into a hotel and check if there's a place to basically stay. The whole concept of online booking and all, it's quite recent, you would say. It's not something that existed in the past. So there's a lot of changes that happen in the industry, and this is what we want to see how you can bring some of those changes. So how do you minimize the gaps in local tourism? And eventually, even though it's local, you'll find that it's translatable to other markets in Southeast Asia. So just start here, but it doesn't mean I just want to jago kampung, right? You start in Malaysia, but you don't end up here in Malaysia. We'll figure out a way to take you to other markets that's quite similar too, right? So we want to meet up the demand of industries and eventually, like what we did for the fintech and insurtech industry itself, build that community of travel, tourism, hospitality-based community of startups, not just Malaysia, but eventually become regional. So that's the aspiration for the next 1+ years, up to the end of next year, stuff that we want to do with you. So hopefully you come on a journey with us. So it's mentioned just now the dates, but what we're showing is something that we realize also as we build industries for fintech and insurance. It cannot be a one-off. You can't just say like, I'm going to do this, here's one batch, cross our fingers, we find the next big thing. It's a commitment we need to have. and the commitment needs to be at least 2 to 3 times we tend to do this. So we're committing to do 3 batches across this year, next year. We're starting recruitment this year, but it will mainly run next year itself. So we can have a flavor of different things. And the partners will of course change and add on to whatever we have right now. We're going to keep finding new partners to basically come in and tell us things that they want to have solved for. The program is going to be hybrid. I'll go into more details later. Hybrid basically means it's going to be a combination of online and offline. Because I know not everyone is going to solve that idea based in Thailand, right? You're going to get people up north, and also people globally outside of Malaysia. We're welcoming some of those ideas too. So we're trying to just make it a little bit more easier. We're having a hybrid session, mixture of online programs, some kind of office hours, and also offline where we do some boot camps. So we'll figure out how to work with you on that schedule once you register. So some of the benefits of course coming to this program is selling you a little bit more. I think the main thing that we notice that makes the difference for startups in Malaysia is trying to avoid the whole Me Too and the shock simulating, right? So if you try to build something that matters, it's easier when there is a client or a customer telling you, I'm willing to pay for this. Here's the gap that I have. I want to pay for such things. And I know other people want to pay for such stuff. Build me something that's fit for this. So I think that's the key thing that we want to do first, right? How do we matchmake you with opportunities? So before you even go fully deep into something, you're really speaking to a customer, and that's always rule number 1 of launching any business. Speak to your customers first. Know whether there is a problem that you're solving and it's matched with somebody else telling you, yes, it's so terrible, I'm willing to pay for it. And how do you then go down the opportunity first? So the second part, of course, is another piece to kind of figure out. We'll show you how we do that. Then, of course, it's the whole acceleration of growth. So this is something that you do real well. How do we put you into a time box and say that the time clicks now, right? You've got an idea, you've got a potential customer over there. What are we going to do week on week to get you to take this product to market, or take this idea to become a product? So each one of you will come at different entry points. Some have an idea that fits our customer already. Some of you may have an idea that needs to be fixed or tweaked for them, or it could be completely brand new you didn't create. So the acceleration might be a little bit different for each team on how we retrofit our program to suit your needs and potentially the partners as well. So we accelerate that. That's what we mean. Then eventually, for those who already have products, they just jump in. We want to show you how you get access to customers and markets. So in this case, it's also for a lot more of the foreigners who want to come in and say, I'm already doing travel tourism in Jakarta, in Singapore, and Hong Kong, and I want to get a new market entry point into Malaysia. So they come in because of these reasons, right? Find a new customer base. And that allows them to also raise funds later. Every investor wants to invest in a company that can go regional or global faster. So the more we facilitate you to go into new markets, of course here we're doing it for Malaysia, eventually we can do it for the neighboring countries, then this becomes a little rite of passage for you for fundraising needs. And of course, I know everyone loves money, so I think we're putting up the fundraising opportunities here. So we're saying that we have fundings, we just raised a new fund, and we have funds from really interesting entrepreneurs here in Malaysia, and we're willing to invest into some of these amazing companies. So by all means, join the program, be part of this. Let us see how we can have a relationship with you to see if this is something worth creating. And we want to see how we can use funds that we have and our partners have and accelerate that growth with Jackson, right? And of course, eventually the whole networking and community. I think you need that to basically come up with really amazing solutions that is not one size fits all. When you have great partners you can work with and leverage on each other, everyone brings something to the table, and it becomes a little bit more stronger in terms of relationships to go to market and leverage each other's strengths. This is something we realize in the fintech circuit, and this is something also we do as investors. When we invest into something, we like to find adjacent markets that can support it. So we don't see you just as a standalone investment. We go like, if I invest in 2 or 3 of you together as a collective, then you can do even more things than both, right? So that's how we basically do that. So at least 150,000 is something we basically write. The check size can go bigger as we can club around with our other co-investment funders and stuff. We used to raising up to 20 million per startup usually. So who should apply? So you have to be a registered company, but not necessarily in Malaysia. We're allowing outside of Malaysia to also join. But we want to make sure that you have an interesting idea or a scalable business model. And that's something we'll figure out as we join and we interview you to figure out, does this have legs? The more we will know when you tell us and we connect you with our existing partners. It can already be in the vertical of tourism, but we don't expect it. So we're expecting people to be in adjacent markets too. Like for fintech, we also look at healthcare, because finance can go to healthcare, finance can go to lifestyle. So same thing with tourism. We're not saying it must be tourism, it could be anything adjacent that has customer bases or channels that could spill over into the travel tourism world as well. That's something we want to see. If you're not sure, come and speak to us after this. We can give you a quick analysis at the top of our head, but does this make sense for a program based on the partners we know we're getting and the partners that we're kind of seeking out that need solutions for you, right? Eventually, we want to make sure you have in-house capabilities. That means if you're just an idea, business person, you don't have the tech ability to build, that's going to be a deal breaker. That's going to be really hard. Because as we put you on with the partners, these people are committing to be there to take a solution you have and launch, right? That's what they want. So if you can't build it as we have the discussion about the weeks, you have to say, hang on, I need to go to my vendor and outsource this, then technically you're not a startup to begin with, right? It's like going to a restaurant and there's no cook. I don't know how you basically eat in a restaurant like that. So you need to have a team, you need to be able to contribute at least that duration of 6 to 8 weeks with us, to take feedback from the partners and possibly make some kind of changes so that we can see that you're committed and they are willing to take your product to market with them. So that's some kind of commitments we basically want. That's a 6 to 8 weeks program. So what happens in the program? Well, if you've joined, anyone joined an accelerator before? Okay, I see no computer faces anyway. So you definitely have. So the whole idea of the program is it's short-circuiting the process of learning what you need to know to be a startup or a startup in any particular industry that we're trying to build for, right? So, of course, some of you have done this before, so we don't want to put you through the similar program over and over again. So, we're speed running the process. Again, if you're already pro product or pre-product, we'll have different similar tracks-ish for you. But all our content is online. You can learn at your own pace. If you feel like, I can watch videos after videos after videos all in a day, by all means, absorb as much as you can. But if you want to have a whole regime and slow down the process, you can. But eventually there will be a time box of we've got 2 weeks to review these things. Because upon reviewing those things, we want to have a conversation with you. That's when mentoring happens. And that's some of our team and outsiders we bring in, whose job is just to basically help you figure out where you are right now, where you need to go to be able to speak efficiently with the partners. Most of the times we see the breakdown is, you think you want to speak to the partner, put you in front of the partner, and you have no idea what to say. You do not know how to set expectations, you do not know how you have synergy with them yet, because one's speaking like ducks, one's speaking like chickens. So our role is to be that translator in between. So we're pacing you to figure out, get your basics, get your house in order. That's what the first 2 parts does. Then eventually we introduce you to what we call fireside chat sessions, where we're bringing people from the industry or partners or maybe outside that talk about the issue. And when we do these sessions, we kind of keep it very closed doors, so it's not publicly streamed sometimes, because some of these partners share very in-depth things, very honest truths, for you to build better products, but not push out to the whole world to write reports about that. So these are nice, honest sharings that they basically have. So you can pick up on this thing and say, that's that thing that I'm going to solve that aligns to what I basically want, right? So you go from there then to the bootcamp, and that specific bootcamp is the one in physical. Because it's quite easy to trash it out with our team. So we're bringing our kind of lead architect and our agile team itself to try and sit down with you to figure out, now how do you take what you think you're going to do and document the process to talk to someone like maybe Ministry of Tourism and stuff, right? Because they're not startup people. You will talk very different linguists, but you need to know how to meet midway. So there are certain things that you will document and describe and have to say for them to get a clue what you're trying to achieve. You think it's easy? We've done it for the last 10 years. We've made it easy, but it's not easy by default for anyone. That's why you don't see banks just launching partnerships every other day with people. But with us, we've showed how our RHB could have revenue streams with early-stage startups and board-making revenue because of the processes we put into place. So we know how to do that. So that's what the bootcamp does. Then eventually after the boot camp, because you know how to position that conversation, then we allow you to have office hours with the participants. And you can have that concise dialogue of what exactly do you want, what do you need from them, what expectations from them. And then that process is a little bit more iterative. You work on a deck, we teach you how to pitch, there's a lot more things in between, and you put it on the slide. And then eventually, it kind of culminates to a demo day where we pick the top ideas. That's something we'll see how many people register, whether there's too many or too little. We will decide whether we have to cut some of you and put the best on stage, saying these are the problems that our matters most. These are the approach of solutions that make most sense. Sounds investable, something's going to make an impact. And you get a stage to pitch so that other people are aware you exist, other investors will be allowed to come to the room, and you get that exposure. So you are now known as a startup in this space with a potential customer for a rollout, and people want to invest into things like that before we start the class. So this is essentially what happens in the period of 3 months of that actual cohort. Okay? So our invitation today is, we've got a mixture of people in this room, depending who you are, right? You could be potential mentors of the industry, you're a seasoned veteran in the tourism-based part, or in the industry, you want to be a speaker, you want to be an applicant, or you want more applicants and stuff, so it could be anything. Or you could just say like, look, I am a problem statement provider. I'm from the industry, I want these things to be solved, I'm willing to use solutions like this. This is something that we're going about, we're doing a little bit of roadshows on this, to find more partners that can come up front and say, I'm willing to be a customer. So we just met one person who owns like 13 hotels in the country, but budget-ish kind of hotels. And he said, yeah, I'm a business owner, I've got this kind of assets. If there's something that helps me solve for certain things, why would I not pay for such solutions? I just don't have time to go look for things. So programs like this reduce their time to shop around. They come here, everything is presented to them on a nice little platter, and they can basically decide whether they want it or they don't want it. And that's our commitment to the program, to MNEC, and what we can do as we market you on this particular travel tourism-based app and connect with it. So QR code over here, information is at the site, basically everything I say is on the website. If you're keen to join, you want to have a conversation with us, my team is over here. Anyone that has meat on their t-shirts, come speak to us. I'm next over here, speak to them. We can tell you whether we think you're kind of fit for this program. And I welcome questions. Thank you.